Okay, so today we have with us Anly. She is a psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and today we're going to be talking about reincarnation and past life regression therapy in general. A lot of people think it's a pseudoscience. A lot of people think that there's no credibility behind past life regression therapy and reincarnation in general. Anly, could you please tell me what reincarnation basically is, the definition?
Reincarnation, look, if you have read books by Dr. Brian Weiss, it is so well explained with real life examples. Real past life regression is you kind of understand the number of lives that you've come through. People don't believe that there are a lot of people who don't believe in reincarnation and karma and things like that.
Right.
But it was through pure accident, like Dr. Brian Weiss. He is an authority on this. He has researched on this, and it was during one of his normal hypnosis session that he found his client going backwards in time.
Right.
And then, which was an eye opener for him. It's there that he kind of, he never expected it.
Right.
And then it went on, the regression went on for some months, and he was able to go to 86 lives of hers backwards. Yeah, and her present life, all her anxiety, her depression, all this was related to her past lives. Like she always used to gag. She couldn't swallow water or medication because she would gag on it. Now, it was in one of her past lives. She had had a water accident where she was choking and she drowned. So it was due to that. So when you go back in time, it kind of heals. You heal,
Right.
And also they say that this past life reincarnation was mentioned in the earlier Bible.
Okay.
Like they say, this was also, I got it from Dr. Brian Weiss's book. He said that he was doing studies in comparative religion. You must be knowing Dr. Brian Weiss was a Jew.
Yes.
They were, yeah. So I don't know what Judaism speaks about reincarnation. You can fill me on that. So in this, he says that in his study of comparative religion, he has come across references, he has read upon them, which says that past life was mentioned in the Old Testament and the New Testament, and it was Emperor Constantine and his mother, Queen Helena, who had it deleted.
And do you have any idea why? Yeah.
Yeah, because it would affect faith, like people might not think about salvation in the way it is now. But I believe even the very early church fathers accepted this reincarnation theory. They kind of knew.
We have landed at religion. Well, look at religion. Most religions, especially the ones that are old, have a very deep relationship with reincarnation. So my faith is Judaism, so I'll speak for Judaism. For the most part, Judaism 100% accepts reincarnation. It's clearly written in the Zohar that there are multiple lives. And in Judaism, we call it Gilgul Neshamot. It means basically the cycle of souls, right? But Judaism universally agrees that the soul only gets reincarnated into human bodies unless God himself intervenes and says this soul deserves to be put in an animal's body because of the sins that it has committed, or it needs geula, it needs redemption. But that's what Judaism says. Hinduism, no doubt, there's a lot of things about reincarnation in Hinduism, but not in early Hinduism. I think just pre-Buddha era, wherein it's first mentioned in the Upanishads. So there's no question about that. Buddhism, basic tenet of Buddhism is reincarnation and karma. So no doubt about that. It's reincarnation and Buddhism are inseparable. However, the two biggest faiths today, Christianity and Islam, thoroughly reject reincarnation. If my understanding is right, Christianity, they say if there is a thing called reincarnation, then Jesus is no longer relevant because there's because they say that everyone after their death would be, under the soil, and they wake up on the day of on the judgment day, and then Jesus judges
Right.
each of them, and then he has a big book, and he condemns half the people to hell, half the people to heaven. Same with Islam. On the last day, people are going to rise up, and God is going to judge them according to. So why do you think Islam and Christianity so vehemently rejected these two? I mean, couldn't they have incorporated it just like Judaism, and still not have their basic tenets challenged? As far as Judaism is concerned, it's beautifully incorporated in it that even there's an explanation for converts. People that convert to Judaism, they're viewed as being Jews in a past life. And then God has subject them to roam around the Gentiles for a couple of lifetimes before they are called back. So that's the theory there. So I think that's a beautiful thing that they've incorporated into the Jewish faith. So, I mean, Christianity and Islam could have done that, but that's another matter.
What the book says is, why they did it was they thought this concept would weaken the growing power of the church by giving humans too much time to seek their salvation.
Right. Yeah, I'm reminded of Brian Weiss. What he said is that I don't remember exactly the context, but he said if this person wants to improve, he has all the time in the world because his soul is immortal, right? And then, as I said, Christ becomes irrelevant. In such an aspect, in such a configuration of things, then there's no need for a personal savior. Because I have all the time to iron out my wrinkles. I don't need somebody to die on the cross to save me, right?
Yeah, but they say the second coming, Christ is coming again.
Oh yeah. So do you view the second coming as a reincarnation?
Well, I mean, I think my personal opinion should stay with me.
But I'm guessing it. I would define you as a devout Christian, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
You're right. So whether Christ will come back in a reincarnated form or in flesh and blood or right from heaven is really it's not something you wish to share.
No, we'll have to wait and see.
Beautiful. So let's progress on to past life regression therapy as a clinical practice, right? That's pretty much the focal point of our discussion today. Reincarnation might or might not exist, right? People say,
Right.
yeah, that's not what we're concerned about. We're talking about past life regression therapy. That's the focal point right now. So let's start with if I'm not mistaken, it was Jan Stevenson with his
Yes.
6-year-old before Brian Weiss. He's the one who
Right.
kind of brought it into light, and he had a lot of examples to quote about little children remembering with remarkable accuracy their past lives. But many people have also attempted to debunk his theories and said that, for example, the memories that these people or children recount are actually influenced by movies or books that they read, and that it's not all factually correct. For example, there was a person who claimed to be an ex-Japanese soldier during World War II, and as we know, all Japanese soldiers during that time were familiar with the face of Emperor Hirohito because he was the leader of the country, and this person couldn't identify Hirohito and couldn't speak Japanese as well. And that's just an example. So there are many theories that go against these memories, in that they go on to say that these are figments of cryptomnesia, in which memories that are induced under hypnosis are indistinguishable from real memories. So you think, and they're extra vivid as well. So you think they're authentic, genuine memories, and therefore you're leading others to believe that it was actually a past life, while at the same time it's actually not the past life. So what do you have to say about that argument?
Yeah, see, hypnosis can be applied only on people who are suggestible. Now, Dr. Ian Stevenson, when he spoke about children, he said they spoke languages which they never knew. How can you hypnotize someone and teach someone a language?
But isn't that also debatable? Because I've also read that some of them did not even, speak. They didn't speak properly. They recited some words, but not fluently like how a native German or a native Frenchman would. But I admit there were some cases in which they did indeed speak fluently, but most they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible. Like in some cases, you could, I believe, I believe there were some papers which in US, for some legal thing, they kind of created witnesses by doing this, this kind of kind of past life, giving them memories. And they believed in those memories that it actually happened.
And it was accepted by the court?
It was, I think, initially.
I think it was in one of the Conjuring movies in which the paranormal investigators, they're standing in front of the court and the accused says that the devil made me do it. And the judge laughs at the accused and says that can't be accepted in court. You can't say the devil made you do a crime. And the paranormal investigator stands up and says to the judge, if the court acknowledges the presence, the existence of God, then the court must also acknowledge the existence of the devil, right? So because you make the witnesses swear on top of the Bible,
swear
right?
on,
Court is acknowledging the presence of God. Then it must also acknowledge the existence of the devil. So that's kind of what reminded me what you said. But coming back to the linguistic aspect of it, there is a independent linguist. Her name is Sarah Thomason from the University of Michigan, who interviewed around 100 or so people that Jan Stevenson worked with, and she was triumphantly claiming that Jan Stevenson was lying because she applied her linguistic learnings on these children and found out that they indeed did not speak the languages that they claimed to. So mostly speaking, I think we are led to understand that the claim that they spoke the languages of their purported previous lives are mostly unproven. So which could lead a common observer to think that reincarnation might or might not be true, but past life regression therapy is mostly a scam. That's what people would think.
No, but you remember in Dr. Brian Weiss's character, the person Catherine, like how she went back in time and also spoke about Dr. Brian Weiss, about his past. She had no clue about that. She didn't know about his son. She didn't know about his father, but how did she speak about it?
True. Yeah. Those are questions that we don't have the answer to. So I think we kind of, that's why this discussion is ongoing. There's no convincing hard evidence, right? It's much like astrology. A lot of people believe in astrology. Some people say it's a load of horse crap, but then sometimes the horoscope is frighteningly accurate. Other times it's completely irrelevant. So what do you think the future of past life regression therapy is? Do you think more people are gonna buy into it?
I think so. Because actually, just incidentally, I was trying to join a course, past life regression therapy, conducted by Dr. Brian Weiss. It is being held from the 9th of July to the 14th, but I'm on the waiting list and I've got 900 people ahead of me.
Wow. So it's very much sought after.
Yes. So you know what the answer to that is? Like, it is sought after. People are looking into it. I mean, scientifically also, since it's been proven by Dr. Brian Weiss, the way he's researched on it, and I mean, he's done this with several people. And
a quick question. Is Dr. Brian Weiss taking this seminar, this class himself?
Yes, he and his wife.
He's still active. Wow.
Yes, he is.
In his 90s, I presume. 90s or 80s?
Probably.
Very old.
80s, maybe. 80s, I think he must be.
Which brings us back to this person. So you answered my question. It's still really sought after, still quite desirable. My question is, Brian Weiss is the only name that I found out in the World Wide Web who chiefly works in this. There's no other significant name. Ian Stevenson, but he's more of into reincarnation as a whole. But past life regression therapy, chief among all of them is Brian Weiss and Brian Weiss only, right? So why is that? I mean, if you look at any other branch of science, let's talk about science, quantum mechanics or physics, mathematics, anything, you have hundreds and hundreds of scientists from multiple countries, multiple universities, even competing against each other to make the newest discovery. But here it's always Brian Weiss. So yet another reason for people to doubt the authenticity of this entire branch, because there simply isn't anybody else, right?
Yeah, this is something not like physics or chemistry where you can do some experiment, get an answer to it, and inference. This is something like studying of the unknown, and unless you are able to tap into that plane of, the mental plane, you will not be able to reach there. Like even in hypnosis, when they do hypnosis, they put into a lighter state, a deeper state, and then not everyone can go into past life. So if they're able to tap into their subconscious level and they can go deeper into it, they will be able to do it. Right. And as I told you, everyone is not suggestible. Everyone, you cannot apply hypnosis. Right. There are some people you can, some people you cannot. It will not work on them. Right. They're too strong. They're too stubborn. They're too strong.